This is the St. Francis Church, and most people who come to Évora, they skip the church, but it's nice inside. If you have a chance, you should go by. Most people come here for the Chapel of Bones, the Capella dos Osos. This has been here for a few hundred years. What happened was, when Évora was expanding, they figured these cemeteries are taking up a lot of land where we could build other buildings. And so the monks here took it upon themselves to dig up the bones and bring them to this chapel and decorate the chapel with the human bones. Now, if you go to a lot of ossuaries throughout Europe, some of them are decorated with the bones of the monks who lived there. Some of them are decorated with high-profile people who lived in the town. These were just regular people who were buried in the cemetery for who knows how long, maybe hundreds of years, and then were dug up and brought into this place. Now, if that kind of thing creeps you out, seeing human bones, probably want to skip this, but I find it fascinating the way that they decorated the chapel with these human remains. And as you enter, you kind of get a feeling for what the mindset was of the people who built this place, because in Portuguese it says something along the lines of those of us whose bones are here already await yours, which, you know, just tells you we're all going to wind up one way or another. We're going to wind up in that place where our bones are exposed. So anyway, it's a fascinating place, and tons of people come here to look at the design and maybe to ponder the meaning of the ossuary here in Évora. Time for lunch, and this is Botequim de Moraria, and this place is just open for lunch, Monday through Friday, 12:30 to 3 o'clock. That's it. Don't expect to come here for dinner. Don't expect to come here for a late snack. It's just lunch. It's a two-person operation, husband and wife team. They've been here for 28 years, and the interior is amazing. This place, I walked in and I was like, wow, this place is gorgeous. It is so characteristic of Alentejo. Just absolutely gorgeous inside. And I'm like, well, I hope the food matches the ambiance. And then we were blown away by the food. So the husband works the front, and it's good that he does, because he's got just a great personality, really fun-loving, sweet gentleman. Speaks English too, but we were happy to practice our Portuguese with him. And his wife, who is a terrific cook, works in the back. And we ended up having eggs, scrambled eggs with asparagus, and roasted mushrooms. And the thing about the food is, it is so simple, but incredibly delicious. Asparagus was super fresh, the eggs were just fluffy and divine, and then the mushrooms were just roasted with olive oil and salt, and that's it. And I don't know how they did it, but they were so tasty. We were lapping up that extra olive oil as much as we possibly could. We got a little salad on the side, very simple salad, little slices of onion, tomato, cucumber, lettuce, and a vinaigrette. So it sounds very simple, and it is. It's very, very simple food, but I gotta say, Karen and I were comparing notes, and we were saying this is one of the top meals that we've had in Portugal in the time that we've been here. That's saying a lot, because we've had some great food here. This is one of my favorite places. I cannot recommend it highly enough. We were talking just afterwards, after we had lunch, trying to figure out, could we just come out here just for lunch? Just come out from our house, come out to Évora from Setúbal, and just have lunch and then go back. And we may end up doing it. It's really that good. This is the Évora Cathedral, probably the most popular site to come see in the city. And this is a massive cathedral. It was originally built 800, 900 years ago in the 12th century. And there is a little bit of that Gothic church that remains here, although they expanded it and built on it many, many times over the centuries. The cloisters inside, they're from the 14th century. This facade that you see behind me, that's probably 16th century. So there's all kinds of different styles and architecture to see when you walk in there. When you go inside, you'll go inside and you'll see the church, and it's definitely worth seeing the church. The cathedral inside, the chapel inside, is pretty special, but there's two other things that you should definitely spend time with. And the first one is the roof. You climb up this little narrow spiral staircase to the rooftop, and you've got great views of the countryside up there. There's interesting adornments up there as well, so that's cool. Then you can go down into the basement, and in the basement they have a museum which is filled with all kinds of artifacts of both the Portuguese monarchy and some pretty special artwork as well. And it's funny how it's a basement, so it's just kind of lying around. It's not as formal as you might expect from a museum, so that's cool. You'll spend some time here, but once you're finished, you are right in the middle of the most popular part of Évora. So I'm looking over there, 100 meters away. There's a nice little wine bar, and I think we're going to go spend some time in there a little bit later on this evening and enjoy a little wine tasting with some Alentejo wine. We're at Cartucha Enoteca. There's a little wine bar in Évora, and I thought we'd try 3 different varieties of Alentejo wine. Got some olives and some cheese too. So first up is one from the winery of this wine bar, Cartucha Coleo, and it's a Tempranillo grape, or at least the Portuguese equivalent of Tempranillo. That's nice. Not overly tannic. Got some nice olives too to go with it. Next up, Forel de Évora is the name of the winery, and also from Évora, from this town, from this region. And this has some of the Tempranillo in it, but it's not the major grape that's in this. Ooh. So that's smoother. Maybe because the Tempranillo was blended in there a little bit less, so it's a little bit less aggressive. That's really nice. Oh, I like that one. We got a little local cheese here from Évora as well. Out here in Évora, a lot of it is sheep's milk cheese. That's what most of the cheese is that you have here. So it comes in this little round. Okay, so this is really all right. This reminds me of Queijo d'Agitao. Look how creamy that cheese is. Oh my goodness. Oh, whoa. So I purposely got the not the aged one, the fresh one, because I thought it would be a little more mellow. That's not mellow. That is barn floor cheese. Really, really flavorful, herbaceous, what I like to call stinky feet cheese, which is not a pejorative. That's not meant as an insult at all, but it is very flavorful. I think that would be perfect with this one. Oh, that's really nice. Wow. Good job on the cheese, Évora. All right. So, what I saved for last was the EA Reserva. This is a reserve wine. Also, majority grape in this blend is the Tempranillo, the Portuguese Tempranillo. Oh, I'll bet that would go good with an olive. Alentejo is not a region that a lot of people come and visit. Some people come to Évora, make a day trip out of it from Lisbon, but boy, their agriculture industry here is outstanding. The fresh produce that we've had here has been so good. This cheese is outstanding. And the wine, really, really tasty. Great variety. I've had Alentejo wine before. I've always enjoyed it. This is top notch. Alentejo is the biggest wine producing region in Portugal. And you really get a nice variety. Now, we only tasted red. They've got rosés, they've got whites, and they're all good too. But Alentejo is a hot region, so red wines tend to do very well here. And this is no exception. Really good. And I love the wines of Alentejo. We've tried them when we lived in Setúbal, and now we're having them here, and they are just really top-notch wines. So if you're a wine lover, come to Évora and try some of these wines. What's this one?
Cartucho Reserva.
Okay.
This.
So he just brought the Reserva from Cartucho. Saw me talking here and was like, kid, you got to try this one. Oh, whoa, okay. I can see why, just from the nose itself. This is... Okay. Wow. All right. So mellow on the tongue, but some nice tannins in there. Ooh, boy. Should have gone with the... He didn't steer me wrong. The Cartucho Reserva is another excellent Alentejo wine. Boy, I definitely got my work cut out for me. We were getting ready to leave, and Karen came back here and said, you got to come back here and look at this. They have this display of all of these Portuguese grapes and a little smelling station for you to try them, plus bottles that demonstrate that particular grape. This is an amazing, there's just a little corridor, a little hallway in this winery's tasting room. Amazing. So Tinta Aragonesa, this is basically Grenache. This is similar to France's Grenache grape. And when you come here, they give you these little pieces of paper. You dip them in here. 3 glasses of wine in. Into the liquid. And then you get to smell it and see what it's like. This is really incredible. I've never seen anything like this in any winery that I've ever come to. So, Cartucho, this is one of the biggest wineries in Alentejo. And what I didn't know about this place is that all the wines that we tried were from their winery, even though they had different labels. For example, Farol de Évora, it's a Cartucho wine. There's also the Cartucho. And I gotta say, their wines are incredible. They range from the everyday drinking on a Tuesday night to very special, high quality wines. I mean, if these were reviewed in Wine Spectator, they'd be getting hundreds and hundreds of dollars per bottle. But here we are in Portugal, and you can get these bottles for very reasonable prices. Sure, they have expensive bottles here too, but they also have very reasonable bottles. I mean, we tried 3 very, very nice glasses of wine, ranging from the everyday to the Reserva, and we had our little cheese and our olives, and it came to less than 20 euros. A bargain, in my opinion, for a lovely evening out after dinner. So, well done, Cartucho. Love this place. Going to be coming back real soon. This is the Roman Temple of Évora. This was built in the 1st century of the Common Era, so nearly 2,000 years old, which is incredible, especially when you consider that in the 5th century, Germanic tribes came rampaging through this part of Portugal and ransacked Évora and destroyed a lot of this temple. Then in the 1700s, they started reconstruction, and I think they've done a pretty amazing job of this temple. But it was used for various things. I mean, it hasn't always been so venerated. It was used to store livestock for a while. It was used for a long time as a butcher shop, incredibly enough. Can you imagine them selling steaks out of that place? But they did until about the 1830s when the butcher shop closed down. And since then, it's been a giant tourist attraction here in Évora. In fact, this is right in the middle of probably the most popular part of Évora. Right over there is the Cathedral of Évora, and back behind me, there's video I'll show you of an amazing view. You're looking over the valley into Alentejo, and it's really quite extraordinary. You've got great views. But on this square here, you've got the Museum of Évora, you've got an art center, you've got a enoteca, wine tasting place, and then you've got a hotel back here, the Posada, that was a convent for hundreds of years and now has been turned into a high-class hotel. So all kinds of stuff to see right here in Évora, and this is really ground zero, the most popular tourist part of Évora. You can see cars and all kinds of people moving through here, so this is a place that you'll definitely end up when you come to the city. We're at Origins in Évora. This is a Michelin-recognized restaurant. It's supposed to be outstanding, and so far it's been really, really good. The first dish I had was a pureed vegetable soup. It was very nice. Had pumpkin in it, a little bit of onion. But I've been really looking forward to this dish, which is a baked apple with cream cheese, slivered almond, and arugula. So let's give this a try. Really good. Oh, so nice and soft and delicious. Let's try some with the cheese and the arugula. See how that matches. You know, I wouldn't think that you would have arugula with apple, but it's nice because the apple is so mellow. That cheese is mellow too. It's not like it's a raw milk cheese. It's not like it's an aged cheese. It's kind of a fresh cheese. And then you got some nice nuttiness with the almond. So I think it's a really good combination. I like it. So the baked apple, and I'm going to wait for our next course to come out from the kitchen. It's really nice. Our third course is oven-baked tofu with vegetables and potato puree. Looks good, just came out. Give this a try. This might be a little tough. Smells like, so there's greens, there's lots of greens in there you can see. But it smells, there's herbs in here too, and there might even be, okay, so there's some thyme in there, and I thought I smelled mint as well. Wow. So I expected it to be more earthy, like a lot more root vegetables, but that's sweet and herbaceous. The spinach is so sweet. Some stems of herbs in there. So I gotta be a little more careful picking those out. But wow, not at all what I expected. The tofu is almost cheesy, like a squeaky cheese. You know, I can feel it on my teeth. Really tasty. Expected like roasted tofu. It's not like that at all. This is surprising and delicious. Really like it. So you might expect that a Michelin recognized restaurant like this, we would spend a lot of money. Now, granted, we shared 3 dishes and they're not huge. I mean, this is a good sized dish. This would be a nice, I don't know, almost an entree size. But 3 dishes that we had, I think it's going to be like 30, 35 euros. And we just got water. We didn't get any wine. If you want, you could spend more money here. You could do a 5-course tasting menu. I think that's 70 euros. And then if you wanted to add a wine tasting to that, a wine pairing to that, I think that's another 35. So now you're up over 100 euros. But still, I think it's a really good value, and the food is excellent. So Origin, like your stuff, and you guys do a good job of sourcing local ingredients, so thumbs up from me on this one. We're in the public garden of Évora to wrap up this food and wine tour of the city in Portugal. And just in closing, I would have to say that if you come to Évora, you can do it in a day trip from Lisbon. A lot of tour companies do that, but I really feel like you're going to be missing out on the true cuisine culture of the city, because you come in for a day trip, maybe you get lunch, maybe, but probably not, you get dinner here. So you're only going to get to try one place probably. Much better idea to come in early and stay at least one night. That way you get lunch, you get dinner, you can sample some wines, then you get up the next morning, breakfast and lunch before you have to go home. It's a little more time investment, but it's really worth it, because I got to say, Évora, I have been so impressed with the food and wine culture here. In Portugal, a lot of towns that you go to, there's a certain sameness to the places. Not that that's a bad thing, but here, the variety that you can get is mind-blowing, and the quality of the food, outstanding. I think that probably has a lot to do with the fact that it's such a strong place to grow produce in the Alentejo region. So you get a lot of really, really good produce, fresh, farm-to-table ingredients here in Alentejo. Not to mention the wine. I mean, I was so impressed everywhere we went with the quality of the wine. And the wine bars, Cartucha, outstanding. There's other wine bars here too. I'm posting a full foodie tour guide to Évora on the website, destinationeatdrink.com/Évora. I've got more recommendations for wine bars to go to, more restaurants for you to try out when you come to Évora. Also, I post new videos here on the YouTube channel every Wednesday, so who knows, maybe we'll come back to Évora. Maybe we'll be going to another place in Portugal or somewhere else next time. Also, I have a new podcast episode every Friday. I'm busy with the foodie travel stuff. You can get that at destinationeatdrink.com/pod. Well, that's it from Évora. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe to the channel. I'm Brent Peterson. I'll see you down the road.